Hey everybody. Well, today we're going to take a look at this hopefully really cool looking piece. Now this is the brand new Borg Queen Skull, the full-size prop replica of the Borg Queen Skull that we saw at the end of Star Trek First Contact. Now this came out from Factory Entertainment. It was a pre-order back in December of 2021, and it was supposed to come out in April of 2022, April 6th, to coincide with First Contact Day. But it was delayed by about 3 months. So this is July 10th that I'm filming this on, of 2022, and I just got it in. So finally, here it is. We can see the stuff going on here. Now these are limited editions. This box is pretty heavy. And they're limited editions of only 250. They're only making 250 of these, which is absolutely crazy. But it looks really great in the pictures. This is from Factory Entertainment, as I mentioned, and I bought a couple of prop replicas from them in the past, and they've been very high quality, not some cheap plastic thing, and so I'm hoping that this will be the same. So let's take a look at it and open the box. Alright, so this thing is pretty massive. Hopefully I can get this open. Oh man, I'm excited to see this, because I've been waiting forever for this thing. It seems like, ooh, wow, look at this. Let's see what this is right here. Oh, it looks like it's stuck on there. Okay, well it says important. The battery cover is located here underneath a protective foam disc. Alright, please ensure you remove it before discarding any packaging. And then there is some kind of folder right here. There is Alice Krieg. Now, Alice Krieg played the Borg Queen Skull in Star Trek First Contact, and as you can see here, she actually hand-signed the plaques. She did this 250 times, so thank you to Miss Krieg for making this piece even more special by hand-signing these. This is really, really cool. That's what it's going to look like right there. It's very cool, and this is going to be the Certificate of Authenticity. Wow, look at all that. There's some interesting information there. If you'd like to read it, you can pause all this and read all this information. I'm going to have to read it myself here. There she is, some hefty, hefty makeup that she had to go through. I think in an interview she said it took 7 or 8 hours to get that makeup on, which is just crazy. I mean, your whole day was spent in the makeup chair. Alright, this is looking really awesome already. Oh, there's some stuff back here too. There is some lights in this, which is going to be really cool. And looks like there's some batteries that go down under here. Alright, so let me read the instructions and try to get this thing set up, but let me get this tape cut too so we can see how it's packaged. Okay, man, it was not easy getting this thing out of the box, I'll tell you. It's heavy and it's bulky. Alright, so I cut the tape already, so now all I've got to do is take this out. I thought this was a separate piece, but it's just sticking out. And oh my gosh, oh man, I have been waiting to see this thing for so long. Okay, so let's see what we got here. This looks like a piece of foam here. It comes with batteries, which is really nice. This is the stand, which is, it's metal. It's not some cheap, flimsy plastic thing. I'm very glad to see it. Okay, let's take a look at this. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Oh, man, that is incredible. Wow. It's got some gold kind of highlights in here, this chrome. I think this is made of resin, and it's been chromed. Ooh, here's the tubing on here. There's a sticker on here. I hate when they put stickers on this stuff. I'm going to have to take that off. Wow, there's the spine. Oh my gosh, I wonder how heavy this is. I'm kind of scared to take it out of here. It's been kind of awkward. Oh man, I bet that's heavy. Okay, you know what? Let me before any disaster happens on camera, let me try to take this out. I will say that a lot of the paint came flaking off. As you can see, it's all over my pants here, and then over here as well. You can see it's all over the packaging. If I can kind of, it's hard to see in this camera angle, but there's paint flakes all over. So that was a disappointment that the paint has been flaking off so much of this piece. Also, it was totally unnecessary to put this sticker on here. Why did they have to do this? Why did they have to put this sticker on here? Well, I'll see if I can get it off. And this is why you never put a sticker on chrome. Why, Factory Entertainment? Why did you do this? Now I gotta sit here and try to get all this junk off of there. That was really stupid. I should point out that the paint that's flaking off is on these tubes. You can see it coming off of here and off the chrome areas, right like that. So that's where the paint's coming off. All right, so the batteries go on the back of the head right here. It's going to use 3 AAAs, and then this cover is a magnetic cover, and it actually just connects right onto there after you put the batteries on. And once the batteries are in, you just match up that bump at the top to go into that hole right there. So we can see how it goes right in like that. And then it just kind of goes right on. Very cool. I don't think I've ever seen the back of her skull, so I didn't know it had that detail on it. Okay, so here it is now, completely installed onto the stand. And oh man, this thing is very, very awesome. I gotta say, oh man, I love this thing. Now, having said that, it's not without its flaws. There are some things that I'm going to point out that I wish they would have done better, but overall, this thing looks incredible, and it is very, very well detailed. So let's take a look at the skull right off the bat. Well, you know, first of all, maybe I should turn on the lights. So let's talk about where that happens. Now, right in here, there's 2 little buttons. See these right here? There's this one. That turns it on, that one turns it off. And what I like is that they're integrated into the detailing, and it looks just fun. It's really cool the way they did that. So let's turn these on. Okay, and then when we do, now I may have to dim the lights down because it's going to take away from the effect here. But here, let me turn this down. So now, oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so now we can see the creepy looking red eye, which probably got its influence from the Terminator, I would imagine. And then down here, let's turn this down. You can see the creepy looking spine, and it goes all the way down to the bottom, which is very nice. And I'll get some good close-ups on here so we can really see what's going on. And then also on the side here, we have the cool little Blinkies. And I love these because I remember when I first saw that movie, I noticed there was lights inside of the Borg Queen's scalp. They were actually kind of like blinking through her skin or something, and it was really neat. And so that explains where those were coming from. I guess when she dies at the end, I didn't notice that there was these lights embedded into the skull. But that's very cool. Okay, so I discovered that the lights actually have a timer. So after just a few minutes, they'll actually shut off, probably just to help save on batteries. But now let's take a look at the detail on this. So this skull is so nicely made. I mean, the light here is almost blindingly bright. I do wish that had a filter on it of some kind, or some kind of a cover to fog it down a little bit, but it's fine. I mean, you can see it lights up the entire eye cavity right in there. Now, on the original prop, you know, they had the luxury of gluing each individual greebly on here. This kind of a piece, they have to mold all that in, so it's going to have more of a molded look versus the individual bits, but it still looks really good. I'm assuming that Factory Entertainment just based this off of photos. I don't think it's an actual scan, because not everything is absolutely perfectly exact, but when it comes to greebling, it's going to be hard to, you know, to pass that on. But this looks really good here. Now look at the detail going on inside this head. This is really, really cool. Look how good all of that looks. And this is pretty darn close to how the original looks. There's some nice weathering going on in there that you can see that kind of brings down the chrome shininess to it. There's this really cool looking tubing that's going on. I like the gold highlights that are going on here in the side. That looks really good. Look at all that. And then there should be some gold tone on the front here, right on this spot and on this spot that they missed. But I suppose if you want, you can always paint those in yourself. But you can really see how good this looks. Now my only beef, well, one of the beefs I have is that you can actually see the wiring back here. And I'm not really a fan of that. I wish they could have covered that up somehow. And in fact, I think back here you can actually see the circuit board right in there. But I suppose I can probably just put some tubes or something in there, or a tube like these, just to help hide that. Not that you should have to modify a piece like this, but you know, it's an option, I suppose. Here you can see some nice weathering going on that chrome right there. All this kind of, it has like a nice organic look to it, doesn't it? Just like the original piece. Back here, more of this really nice chroming going on. It's almost like these panels. They have this blackening, like the panel lining going on in here, which, you know, maybe it's residue from that toxic gas, or even leftover flesh from the Borg Queen when she melted away. I really love this burning effect they used around this outside of this round part. Look at how good that looks. That looks really, really nice. And this piece here, look at all the detail on this. That's crazy. That's the battery cover I showed you. That's a magnetic one. Very nicely done to hide the battery compartment, but that looks really good. Really nice detail that you can see going on in there. It's weathered also. Here on the side. Now, the lights shut off again, like I said, because of the timer. Let me turn that back on again because I want to show you those lights. But here they are. I really love that effect. I think that looks great. Now this fan looking kind of thing, these should actually have a gold tone to it. I think at least 3 of them, maybe all of them, I'm not sure. So I do wish they would have put the gold tone on there. But once again, you could probably paint that if you want to. But here's some more of that organic looking kind of detailing. She doesn't have the lower jaw, just like the original one. She was missing her lower jaw. And underneath here you can see all this detail. And it looks just like what the movie version looked like. Very creepy, which is why I love this so much. Looking at the spine now, I really love the way the lighting is done on here. See how it's got kind of that weathering done on it and the chrome isn't completely shiny? Makes it look like it's got some residue on it. You can see these little like vertebrae cushioning things between here. Now, you know, I thought originally this whole thing was going to be flexible, but it's not. It's a solid piece. And 1 or 2 of these is actually loose. You can see that one moves. I think this one turns completely. Guess it's just the way it's put together, but you can actually see the nice detailing. And this looks just like the original. Goes all the way down here to the bottom. Very, very nicely done. Now, I did have to modify the stand. Well, I mean, you don't have to do this, but it was bothering me. And this is, you know, the metal, when you put this metal piece on here, I don't like how it's scraping up against this chrome. It's not like you're going to be taking this on and off the stand a whole lot, but just the idea of it scraping against that really bothered me. So I took some felt and I just covered the tips right here, hot glued it on there, and then I wrapped each side with some felt and then just hot glued it on, just to help soften that down. And then you can see the lights are still on. I thought they were going off. And also over here, I put a little bit of felt on the ends right there because the whole thing rests against that one to help keep it balanced because it's top heavy. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in there. Now it does add to the thickness of it, so when you put this on the stand, you're going to have to probably turn it sideways because the profile on the side isn't as thick. But I just felt better having that on there. I do think that's something they probably should have done on the piece itself so you don't have to have, you know, the worry of scraping up the chrome on there. Also, you know, I hope that I really hope that they welded that on nice and tight because the entire thing is being held up just by that one piece. And I may have to also put another piece of felt right there because that's obviously put there to help counterbalance the whole thing. This thing is so heavy. I think it weighs about 10 or 15 pounds. I mean, it's a beast. It weighs so much. So it's kind of a hassle to get on the stand, but once you got it on there, it looks really good. Now here is the tubing on here. This is one of the gripes that I have about this piece. See how the paint is flaking off? Now every time I touch this thing, flakes of paint are constantly coming off of this. I have been vacuuming and it gets on your hands. It's constantly flaking off. And it's kind of a bummer. That's the only thing I don't like. But at the same time, I can't necessarily be upset about it because when you paint a soft material like this, I mean, this is actual tubing. It's like the plastic tubing. When you're painting something like this, anytime you move it around, it's going to start cracking the paint and then eventually it'll flake off. And during shipment, I'm sure a lot of this is where a lot of this happened or when they were packaging it. And, you know, when I was building that Lost in Space robot, the legs are made out of the same, I should say the model kit, not the big one. It's made of the same material, and that was a problem I ran into trying to paint the legs or put a dull coat on it, because it will crack over any time that you touch it or move it. So, you know, I can't get too upset about it, but some people would actually say that it adds to the look of it by giving it more of a weathered look. And I was looking at pictures of the original prop from the movie, and theirs is missing some paint on the tubing as well. So apparently that was a problem that they had with theirs as well. But I love the red look on here, like it had gotten scorched or something, or burnt maybe. And I like how some of these are really shiny chrome like that, and then others, this one's got more of a darker look to it compared to the other ones. This one's super shiny right here. And then you got some that are just kind of more of a dull silver like that. And then they got the black in between. So it looks really, really good. Here's the bottom tubing as well, which looks really good. They go all the way up into the top right here. Yeah, I really love it. The paint job on this is really well done. Now here is the plaque that's on the bottom here. This is very nice. Now let me see if I can do this with these tubes in the way. I'll just move them out real quick. So we can see here it says Borg Queen Skull, Signature Edition Prop Replica, Alice Krieg, Borg Queen, and then we have her autograph right there. It's really cool. She actually hand-signed these pieces. And I have edition number 43. And then, let's see, what does it say right there? Starfleet Archives, San Francisco. And then the CBS logo. And the Factory Entertainment logo. So this is very cool. Like I said, there's only 250 of these made, which is a very low number. I'm actually surprised that the number is so low on these. But I'll talk about why that, I think why that is. But having this autographed plaque is very special. I think I might maybe put a clear plastic cover on this, because I don't like that it's exposed like that. Maybe just a sheet of plastic over it or something like that, just to keep it, because I mean it's going to get dusty, and every time you wipe it, you're going to accidentally wipe away her signature or something like that. Or maybe better yet, it might be nice to just get an entire case made for this thing. Okay, so let's talk about a few things when it comes to this piece. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering just how much a piece like this costs. For those of you who don't already know, prepare yourself for some sticker shock, because this thing is $1,500. Yes, you heard right. Oh man, it's $1,500 for this thing. And oh yeah, when I first saw this, I was like, I want this, I want it immediately. And then when I saw the price, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to pass. And then a week goes by and I keep looking at it and keep marveling at it, and I'm just like, man, you know what, I really want this thing. And since I pre-ordered it in December and it wasn't supposed to come out till April, I figured, well, that gives me some months to save up for it. And then it was delayed by another 3 months, which helped me pay, or save up for it, so I could actually just pay the whole thing off. So in some ways, the delay actually worked out pretty good. But yeah, $1,500 for this thing. Yeah, it's a very pricey piece. But now let's talk about some things when it comes to the fact that this is so expensive. Factory Entertainment, I mean, they most certainly could have made more of these. Instead of just a limited edition of 250, maybe they could have made it 1,000 or even 1,500, and that would bring the price down, because the more you make, the more it lowers the cost of making something like this. But at the same time, I think Factory Entertainment knows who they're dealing with when it comes to this piece. This is a very niche collectible, very niche. This is for hardcore Star Trek fans. I mean, only hardcore Star Trek fans are going to shell out the money for this piece. And, if you make a whole bunch of them, they may not sell them all. They may be worried about not selling all of these pieces, because even at $1,000, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be second guessing as to whether or not they want to buy something like this. I mean, I totally get it. I totally get it. It's a lot of money to plunk down on stuff like this, especially nowadays with inflation getting so out of control and gas and food getting so high. These kinds of things are just not something that you can just willy-nilly buy, and I totally get that. But at the same time, I would say that because it is such a limited piece, it makes it all the more special, which I'm really glad, because I'm hoping that Factory Entertainment doesn't turn around and say, hey, we're going to make more of these, and we're just not going to have the Alice Krieg signature included, and then we'll just make more, because then that's going to devalue this piece and make it less special. So hopefully 250 is what they're going to do, and that's what they're going to stick with when it comes to a piece like this. I should also mention that I am not sponsored by Factory Entertainment. They did not give me this piece. I'm not doing any kind of a commercial or sponsorship for them. I bought this with my own money, and I just wanted to make that clear. But having said that, I really have to give a huge shout out and a kudos to Factory Entertainment for making a piece like this. Because I got to tell you, I'm really tired of seeing these companies constantly coming up with the same old props, the same old thing. I don't know how many companies are making communicators and phasers and tricorders. I mean, how many more of those do we need? Yeah, you can make one out of plastic and then make it better by making it out of metal the next time, but I'm just tired of seeing the same old thing. This is something that is completely and totally different, and I really like that they have stepped out of the normal, rut that seems like a lot of companies are getting into by making the same old thing. Nobody has made a Borg Queen Skull before, and they've certainly not made one of this caliber, being such an incredibly well-made piece and so beautiful looking. So, I want to see more companies do that. That's why I want to support companies that are willing to step out of the box, so to speak, and do something different. Take the chance to make something different. There's so many other props in Star Trek, Star Wars, or anything really, that haven't been made that I think a lot of fans of these sort of franchises would like to see. And I know I would. I mean, this is really cool. I totally invite companies to do that. So if they're going to make something of this caliber and something really unique, I want to support that by buying that piece, especially, something as unique and creepy as this is, because this kind of falls into, two different categories. Of course, it can be a sci-fi collectible for Star Trek fans, but it's also, maybe falls into the genre of horror, being a skull and stuff like that. But I think any hardcore Star Trek fan would absolutely love this piece. And I think a lot of people were a little bit hesitant when they saw it. They're thinking, it's not going to be that good when you get it, and there's going to be something wrong with it. But as I've mentioned before, I've gotten two other props from Factory Entertainment. I got their 007 Golden Eye prop, and I also got the Picard Resican flute replicas, and those are really top quality pieces. They're made of metal or resin, and they're not cheap plastic. As I've mentioned in other videos, I'm tired of these high-end, quote, high-end collectible companies, and I'm not trying to bash Sideshow, but there's been too many times I've bought stuff from Sideshow, and it ends up being some cheap hollow plastic thing, especially like the R2-D2 figures and stuff like that. Very, very disappointing. And then they have the nerve to put and glue pieces of metal inside to make it feel more heavy. If you can't make it out of heavy materials like this is made of a nice heavy resin, then, if you can't make it out of a good solid material, then don't even bother making it. At least, Factory Entertainment took the effort to make this out of a nice heavy resin thing. I mean, when you pick this thing up, it's substantial, it's heavy, and it's what you expect it to feel like. And it also has a cold feel to the touch with this chrome. I mean, it's so well done. So the only thing I think that they could have done with this piece, although it would have made the cost even more high, is to have a display case for this, just to keep the dust off of it. And I think I may have a case made for it. I actually know somebody who can make one for me, and maybe even have a door on the side, like right about here, that I can open up so I can reach in and turn the buttons on and off. Oh, I forgot to show you one more thing. That's really cool. So at the end of the movie, if you recall, for those of you that have seen the movie, so Picard, after all that gas is vented out of that room, the Borg Queen, all that's left of her is her outfit and this skull. It's wriggling around on the ground, and Picard comes over, picks it up, and he rips out the spine, and it finally kills her, and her lights finally go off really slow. So let me show you. They actually added that effect on here. So when I turn this off, here's the off button. But you'll see the light slowly fade out. So here we go, right here. See how it fades out, and it even kind of flickers a little bit, which is really neat. So let me turn it back on again. Tell you, those buttons are nicely hidden in here. Okay, so we'll turn it on, and I'll turn it off again. Actually, here, let me turn the lights down because we'll get the effect a little bit better. Got to get that creepy effect. All right, let me reach over here and turn that off. And there it goes. And then that's how she dies at the end of the movie. Very, very creepy and very, very cool. One final thing I want to cover is that there are different places selling this piece. Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store. I bought this directly from Factory Entertainment because I figured it's the safest place to get it. But Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store, they've been around a long time, so they're good. But I do want to say that be careful where you buy it from. There's different places, and eBay included, where people are trying to sell this thing for anywhere between $1,600 to $2,000. I mean, don't pay more for it. It's already expensive enough. And those other people, they're just trying to make a cash grab out of it by adding another $100 to $500 for it. So make sure you buy from a reputable dealer if you decide to get one of these, and don't pay any more than retail for it, because you don't want to do that. But I do think that once these are sold out, and who knows if they even sell out. They may not sell out because they are such an expensive piece. But if they do, these are going to end up becoming very, very valuable, I think, over the course of time. Because once they're gone, they're gone. And it is such a cool, unique piece that I think a lot of Star Trek fans who may pass up on this now may regret it later. But, you know, I get it. It's an expensive piece, but I figured I'd at least do a review on it, so those of you who have been contemplating whether to get one of these can at least get a good close view of it and see how it is and how it looks. But I think it's really well done. Once again, a huge thank you to Factory Entertainment for taking the chance of making a piece like this. I think it's very, very cool, and I'm very glad to see that they are taking the chance of making something different for a change. So this is really great. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video. So thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.